All right, the meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Hamilton Gazette, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. Opening prayer?
Sure. Almighty God, we are thankful for this nation of which we are a humble part. We are proud of its historic past. We rejoice in its glorious present and pray for its righteous future. Amen.
Amen.
At this point, I just want to ask for a brief moment of silence. Our Human Resources Director here at the county, Liz Diaconio's husband, passed away, Hernan Garces Torres. If we just have a brief moment for Hernan. Thank you. If you ask me to keep Liz and her family in your prayers, please. Please face the flag. Attention salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, there was a program, guys.
Roll call, please.
Chairman Commissioner Ruffey will be a few minutes late today.
All right.
Bertino,
Here.
Burns, Days,
Present.
Gatto,
Here.
Kern, Parker,
Present.
Risley,
Here.
Days.
Here. Commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from the November 18th, 2025 meeting. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the November 18th minutes as presented.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Gatto,
Abstain.
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. The Board of Commissioners will continue to utilize a consent agenda format for sections of the agenda that commissioners do not feel need additional discussion from the board and are not contested. This consent agenda format allows our meetings to run more efficiently and productively so that we can spend additional time during the meeting discussing other important issues that are not as routine. If any commissioner wishes for additional discussion on any resolution or would like a resolution to be pulled from the consent agenda to be individually addressed for any reason, please advise and we will do so. For the public, prior to the roll call on any resolution or group of resolutions, you will continue to have an opportunity to comment if you wish to do so. Anyone attending in person who would like to speak regarding an agenda item or a public comment, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and the town in which you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. If you're attending virtually and would like to speak, please raise your hand during the agenda item or a public comment at the end. I'll call your name and a request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. Okay, and at this time, we have a presentation from the Atlantic County Utilities Authority by Matt D'Onofrio, the president of the ACUA. All right.
All right. Thanks everybody for having me. I'm going to try to be cognizant of your time and keep this short. I know there's a much more important presentation after me, so I'll kind of cut right to the chase. We do have 6 slides, so we're going to go through our presentation. We do this a little bit later in the year, so we're usually further along with our town meetings. We have about 8 meetings we finished over the last couple of days. We have another 19 meetings to go to get done by December 19th. So that's our kind of the gauntlet we run through in the next couple of weeks here. So I appreciate the committee yesterday too for meeting with us. So we went through this in great detail for about an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm just going to kind of go through the presentation that I have. And it wouldn't be an ACUA presentation if we didn't update you on landfill gas collection and capacity. So we'll start with that quickly first. The first slide, sorry, if we go to the first slide, it's there. And your packet has all the details in depth on both budgets for our solid waste and our wastewater group. So if there's any questions, you all know how to reach out to me. Please feel free to reach out. If you want to stop me at any point in the conversation, please also just ask away. We always talk about landfill gas collection. We are constantly looking at ways to improve our gas collection. We did a 18-acre temporary cap in the spring of 2025. We added some upgrades to our control system and our flare system. We added, or we're in the process of adding 10 more wells. We have about 35 wells that are installed right now collecting gas, and that evolves each year. So this year we added 10 more to that. And then as you guys are all aware, we did a permanent cap, and that was funded through the county. We appreciate that, and that has actually come to a close. We're just going through some punch list items. 16 acres that was permanently capped across a side slope section of us. That really kind of, again, just the whole envelope allowing us to more efficiently collect gas out at our landfill. And then after these 10 wells that we're doing right now get drilled, we'll be putting another 4 acres of temporary capping in. So we're just kind of moving along where we're actively working in our landfill. The next slide talks a little bit about, so that's landfill gas. This is what we're doing with the landfill gas. And I appreciate some of the commissioners that came out October 27th for our meeting, or for our ribbon cutting that we had. This is 7 years in the making. And these are one of these projects that when we look at our wind farm that saved almost $9 million for county ratepayers, we look at our solar, we look at our landfill gas to electricity. This is one of these big moments. So this is the first public landfill that's taking their landfill gas, putting it into, cleaning it up and putting it into the pipeline and generating revenue with this. So our organization is generating about $1.5 to $1.6 million in revenue each year from this project, which helps keep our rate to be one of the lowest in the entire state. We were able to work through 7 years of trying to get this done. So we started this as an idea in a meeting with South Jersey Gas, and they said, no, we're never going to put that gas in our pipeline. 7 years later, we were celebrating it with them and another partner, Opal Fuels. So really, again, a great project for our organization, for the ratepayers. It also has a huge environmental impact too. We're reducing our emission rate from our flare by 95%. It doesn't run really at all anymore. So that's a huge impact to the local environment as well. But the money is the other part too. We talk about green in two different ways, environment and also cost. But we were able to generate some more revenue from this project, and we'll see that in next year's budget, which is great. Then the last update before I give you before I give you kind of like the breakdown of the budget a little bit is our odor complaints. So the next slide, here's what we were dealing with in early 2023. Here's where we're at right now. You can see April of 2024, a significant drop, and it continues to be exactly where we're at. This is the status quo of a landfill. This is what you'll see at any landfill site across the state, but we are well past where we were in late 2023, early 2024. Then the last thing that is always a hot topic is landfill capacity. So the next slide just shows where we're at with landfill capacity. I've talked about so many different options. This started in April of 2022. I have presented to this board and several other boards, as well as our board, and in different meetings 26 times in almost 3 years on what we're doing. And we're finally in a process where we are now seeing traction of our capacity increase. So we met with the county planning, October 27th, went through our pre-application meeting. We're working through the SWAC process, and we hope to be in front of this board sometime in early 2026 with the expansion. This will be an 11-year expansion to bring our capacity to 2040. This is the silver platter that I said I would bring you to say, here is the capacity that you want and you need. The impact on the ratepayers for Atlantic County with this is about $25 million a year if this landfill closes prematurely or early. This is a significant impact. This is keeping our rate to where it is right now, the lowest or one of the lowest in the entire state. We have the highest host community fee, and we also double handle our waste. So we're not doing it cheaper than anybody else. It's costing us more to do it, but we're still able to keep our costs down because of projects like that RNG and the way we manage our facility. The other update to this is the waste conversion that we've been talking about for about 2 years. Started that process in 2023, August, and we went through Office of State Comptroller. We're able to get a RFQ out, pre-selected 3 vendors out of 8 in December of 2023. And then the state of New Jersey kicked in. The bureaucracy of the comptroller's office slowed us down by about almost 2 years, 18 months it took us to get through the RFP process. And it was just because there was staff that had changed, moved out of the group, and weren't familiar with the McEnroe Act. So we had to re-educate the staff there on what that was and what that RFP would look like. So the second step was releasing that. It took us 18 months to do that. We got that in October, and we released that about a week or so ago. And that went to just 3 vendors that were pre-selected from this. So in 2026, we should be awarding a contract to one vendor for some kind of waste conversion project as well, which could extend the life of what we're doing right now, but also be an alternative and the first really on the East Coast in doing something different with your waste besides burying it or burning it. All right, now while everybody is here, the budget. So the solid waste budget, not very eventful other than we're trying to keep rates as low as possible. So on the solid waste side, we're looking at a 2% increase. And this is not easy to do when costs continue to increase everywhere. So looking at a 2% increase, this is pretty consistent with existing facilities. I think Cumberland's doing a 3.5%. I think Cape May did a 2%, but we're all kind of within that realm. We tried to keep it below what the inflation rate was. Some of the things that are driving that really mainly is our administrative support services is up 15%. And what's really contributing to that is the lawsuit that we are dealing with. We had to budget $1.5 million in next year's budget. We've spent about $1.7 million in this lawsuit. And I can't stress what this lawsuit means, not just for Atlantic County, but for the entire state and all 12 landfills that are in the state. If there is a settlement, if there is a loss, this sets a precedent for every single landfill across the state. This is the stuff that we found really is throwing stuff against the wall, but we're working through that. But we have to defend this. There's a lot at stake for our taxpayers and our ratepayers in the county. So this is expensive to do, but it's really expensive if we don't. So that's a lot of what our increase is. So it's gobbling up that RNG revenue. So we're on the revenue side, we're seeing about $1.3 million come in from the RNG project. That's being kind of gobbled up with this lawsuit, which is a little frustrating because we could be putting it towards something that's a little bit more beneficial. And it will, because that's going to be a yearly revenue stream for us. All right. So once we get past this, we move forward, we'll see that revenue, and that'll continue to help offset what our costs are. We also had to increase our cell wall replacement. We reduced that last year, and that's just a few dollars that go into each ton to help us with whether it's building a new cell or it's changing the way our transfer station acts to have to manage waste in the future. So you have to build up a capital for that. So that's what that is. Revenue is up 5%, and that's really because of the RNG project that I spoke about earlier. And that's the solid waste side of things. Is there any questions on the solid waste? Go ahead, Mr. Bertino.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, just a quick one on, you talked about the cost that we're having for that lawsuit and litigation. And the impact I know is going to have on, however it turns out, it's going to impact all the other landfills. Have any of them asked to join you in fighting and supporting your case, since it's going to impact everybody across the state anyway?
So that's part of our plan, but we're just not there yet. So we just finished our discovery and deposition stage, and now we're kind of working on, I guess, briefs, if you will. Not attorney, so I'm probably using the wrong terms. Looking at Commissioner Ruffo, who's probably like, "That's not what he's doing." But we haven't gotten to court yet. So sometime, probably mid 2026, we will be looking at that. There's a lot of state agencies or state organizations that we're a part of: Landfill Alliance, SWANA, AEA, that will also engage as well.
If I'm them, I'd be looking at what you're doing, obviously, because it's going to impact the entire state with disposal. That any of that part of that litigation comes to fruition.
Yeah, it hasn't hit their pocket yet, so we'll make it very clear that it will.
All right, that's it. So,
Were there any other commissioner comments or questions?
So I just have the wastewater side
Sure.
now. I just
That's
want
fine. I
to
just wanted
stop
to-
at the solid
Nope.
waste. Okay. And then the wastewater budget, again, another, we're just going with a 2% increase on this. Both of these budgets, one of the things that's really helping us keep these rates down is our health insurance. So we were able to get out of the state health insurance plan September 1st. And, again, talking about dodging a bullet, 3 years ago, we probably wouldn't have been able to do that because of our claims history. We were able to get a good claims history and be able to get a insurance plan that met the same requirements as a state plan did. And we avoided a 36% increase. Would have been $2 million under our budget. So 2% is about $600,000 when you're looking at our budget. So $2 million just right off the bat would be what we'd be dealing with when it comes to insurance costs. So we were able to do that. And we know as we met with towns last year, that is a huge topic for a lot of, and including the county. It's such a tough thing for them to have to deal with. So trying to keep that rate as low as possible was important for us this year as they're kind of dealing with that. Next year could be another story. You know, we're frozen until the end of July or end of August, but that is providing us a significant amount of savings. So that's helping us on both sides of the operation. Our rate history for wastewater, so similar to solid waste, is the lowest. There's a little map in there that shows kind of what the wastewater rate is. But if you look at the last 10 years, we've actually reduced our rate twice, and cumulatively looking at our rate increase, so we have a 2% this year. Over 10 years, we've only cumulatively increased our rate just under 7%. That's because we've had those two rate decreases that we've done. So in 2017 and 2021, we reduced the rate by about $1.5 million. Operating expenses for us are up a little bit, a little over 3.5%. Part of that is salaries. There is a step system over at our wastewater treatment plant, so some of them are moving past a 4 or 5% increase on their steps. Health benefits are flat. Chemicals for us is a big cost. That was a decrease, which we've seen that rise over the last 5 years, which is great to see that finally go down. I think the market is kind of stabilizing with the unknowns of transportation and costs and all the other things that were kind of driving prices up that we were seeing in those bids. Natural gas is down just because of usage. The big number that's driving us up is the electricity cost. And this doesn't have to do with what we're doing as far as what everybody else has experienced with electricity costs. We've had a fixed rate for 20 years because of our wind farm. We've saved almost $9 million from a fixed rate since 2006. March 14th, 2006, our rate was set at 0.079 cents a kilowatt hour and has been that for 20 years. 60% of our power is billed at that. The contract is up now. The wind farm is staying there. 5 to 10 more years left of life in that. So it's not a 20-year lifespan, which everybody kind of assumed. We're going to get 30 out of that thing. It's in great shape. The price is going up a little bit. So we had gotten a price for about 26% increase, and we're just kind of working on negotiating that down a little bit more for now, but we are expecting that price to go up. So that's kind of driving most of the cost increase on the wastewater side. And then on the revenue, we're seeing an increase from the revenue, obviously from the 2% increase, but we also are offsetting it with sludge. So we are regional responsibility for sludge disposal for the state. We take Cape May, we take Hamilton, we used to take Millville, we take Lambertville, and several other small ones. Camden County often sends us their sludge as a revenue. It's offsetting our cost, but we can't count on their equipment to be down. So we never know when that's actually going to come to us. About a month ago, they told us that they're taking their equipment down for 2 years. And they said, can you take our sludge? I said, sure, yeah, we'll take it, because we're generating that extra revenue that helps offset our costs. So now we're able to budget that and count on that for the next 2 years. So that's really kind of helped us balance a lot of things. And that's it. I'm going to stop there. If there's questions about wastewater, solid waste, or anything else that we talked about tonight.
All right, Matthew, thank you. Are there any commissioner comments or questions?
No, I had the opportunity to go and actually like drop off trash at the
Lucky you.
dump. Yeah. First time I ever had to do that one. And it's a great way to get out aggression, by the way. But it was just wanted to say the employees were really friendly, really helpful. And it was actually a pretty clean experience, which is surprising when you're driving into a building full of trash. But
the transfer station's not a pretty place. But
yes,
I'm glad you said that.
but I just wanted to say, like, for me as a lay person, it was a very easy and good experience. So just want to say thanks.
Great. Thank you very much. And the offer is always open for tours. I know that Commissioner Risley and Bertina were interested in taking a tour of the facility after the RNG project was online to kind of walk through that, but also to see the permanent cap. It's pretty impressive to kind of see that wrapping around the site too. So, all right. Great. Thank you. And one last thing, Commissioner Gatto, I just want to wish you the best of luck. This may be my last meeting. I'm at the year here. So I just want to wish you a nice holiday. And thank you for all that you've done for the county over the years, and the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thanks for all you've done. You've been a great partner, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. At this time, County Executive Levinson is asked to speak. So at this point, County Executive.
I don't forget in the end, Amy, I'm losing my favorite freeholder.
I thought that was me.
I'm his favorite commissioner.
I thought I was.
Good thing my favorite county executive is still here.
You'll always be freeholders to me. I appreciate this opportunity to speak to you. There seems to be a lot of passion right now about the prison, either the old prison or the new prison. And I understand why people are excited, why there is passion about it. In Hamilton, it's your homes. In Mays Landing, it's your homes. Living near a prison is not desirable any more than it is living near a landfill or an airport or a shooting range. But our situation is such that we have to make a decision. In reality, you have to make the decision. And I believe it's important that you understand the factors as they are now. I have not heard the presentation that you're going to hear today. You'll be hearing it for the first time, and I will. But the circumstances are going to be the same, but you have to make a choice. No one wants a prison in their backyard, but also no one wants a prison in their front yard. So it's like dueling banjos. You have a prison, a justice facility, a lockup in Mays Landing that is surrounded by 3 schools. And you will have, if it comes to fruition, a lockup, a jail, a prison in Winslow Township in Camden County, which, by the way, makes it a little confusing because it's a Hamilton mailing address. And a lot of the calls that I've received from both sides, I try to be as objective as I can. And a dear friend called and we spoke and asked what I thought, and I said what I thought. And then he responded that what he thought I thought. So he asked me what I thought, then told me what he thinks I thought. Which, trust me, I have not made up my mind any more than you have, because we haven't heard exactly what is going to occur. Our present facility right now has to be replaced. It is too expensive for us to fix it up. It's a 41-year-old facility. It's going to cost us millions to replace certain things, locks, the windows, the ceilings are low. We have backups all the time. If we want to fix a pipe, we have to really hammer through 12 inches of concrete. It's a problem. Can we add on to it? Possibly. Can we knock down what we have? Possibly. Now, as far as Hamilton is concerned, and they're concerned about Winslow Township, 13 miles away from the border, is a problem for them. And people are concerned, and I understand their concern. But let me caution you. This lockup will be there whether we are part of it or not. It'll be either a 2-county or a 3-county or a 4-county lockup. At this present time in Ancora, it's 650 acres. There's right now close to 600. What's proper? Is mental case proper anymore? People that are insane? What are they? Patients. Patients that are, in one way or the other, insane. They're there. And the prison will be there, with or without us. And with or without us, Jamesburg is going to be closed. And they're going to build a huge facility for juveniles in those 650 acres. So you really can't win for losing this one. Now, to keep that in mind, one way or the other, it's going to be there. So as long as that's embedded with you, why not just fix up the jail that we have? Well, It's going to be extraordinarily expensive. It's antiquated. Can we build next to it? Very possibly, if that's what you all wish to do. And we're going to have to knock down, haul it away. How much is that going to be? And the complaints I get from Mays Landing, when I get these calls, we want it out of here. We've had it long enough. We need that space in the industrial park for a rateable. We could have leased it 10 times over if it wasn't for that facility that you have. We want it out. We have paid our price, our fair share. And we don't want it anymore in Mays Landing. And Hamilton doesn't want it in Winslow. You're going to have to make a decision. Of course, I have veto power, but I am confident that you'll make the right decision. And it's going to be a difficult one because it's a political hot potato. And I know that. And I know how important to anybody that's running that Hamilton Township, Mays Landing is, and how important Hamilton is. But in the best interest of public safety, that should be your concern. And I don't really know which way this is going to go, but I do know that it certainly is not going to go smoothly. And you're going to have arguments and good arguments on both sides why it shouldn't be where it is. If I were living 13 miles away from a prison, by the way, a huge lockup with juveniles. And by the way, these are no longer the dead end kids. I mean, these kids are serious criminals. And also have the criminally insane that are there. By the way, over 560 inmates, I believe, that are there at this patients. And also, you're going to have two counties, Camden and Cumberland County, that are going to be there with or without us. Now, we have to decide, and I'm going to tell you flat out, should look at it monetarily. Going in, how much is it going to cost? Staying where we are, how much is it going to cost? How does that going to affect people in our county in Mays Landing that want that space and want that prison out of there? God forbid if there is a problem there because of the antiquated facilities that they're in right now with 3 schools, special services, ACIT, and Hess School, right around there. And I know an argument from Hamilton was, well, the jail was there first. You're absolutely right. It's the same argument, by the way, with the odor from the landfill. The landfill was there first. We can go on and on to ad infinitum. So what I'm just letting you know is this is what you're going to be up against. And besides the fact that I get paid more as a county executive than you do, I'm glad I'm not in your position right now because you do have a decision you have to make. The one freeholder has made it very clear. Anybody that is for this, you still feel the same way, Mr. Bertino?
As I stated to you many months ago when the first discussion we had came up, the county seat is where we put all our facilities. We have the prosecutor's office here. We have the courthouse here. We have the jail there. We have the special services district there. That's why it's located in the county seat, so everyone around the county can get to it equally. Placing it to another county or even to the farthest end of our county without looking at how we're going to impact the court system, transportation of prisoners back and forth, the logistics of it alone is going to be expensive. The startup costs are going to be expensive. But as I said, I have an open mind. I will listen. I will ask a lot of questions. So all the commissioners have the same information we all should have. And then you make the decision you guys feel you need to make. But I don't see how it'll work. But I'm willing to listen.
I'm glad. But to answer you, we also have the public defender. We have 3 floors of social services. We have the civil courthouse in
All there.
in Atlantic City, not in
The county.
Mays Landing.
That your courthouse said that you do the district we have in Mays Landing. What do we actually do there? There's
What-
no
what do we
criminal
do in the
cases.
in the
There's
civil
there's
court?
no prisoners that come from Atlantic County Jail that go there for disposition.
What I'm saying is,
Okay.
we don't have all our county facilities that are in
Understood.
we have county facilities that are in Atlantic City. Public defender, 3 floors of welfare. We have 8 floors of county office building, the administrative building, legal, and we also have the county court, the civil courthouse there. So that, you can juggle that any way you want. And I understand your passion. You're from Hamilton. Would I want it in my backyard? No. Would I want it in my front yard? No.
Danny, it's not about where it's located. It's about the efficiency of the operation. And that's what I'm looking at, because I think it's going to have an impact. If I ask judges there, if I ask prosecutors, do you want to transport prisoners back and forth? There's the sheriff's department's going to have to talk about personnel, equipment moving back and forth. But that's got to come in our discussions as we're coming
That's
to
exactly
the
right.
decision, which I'm willing to listen to,
Well,
because I
I'm
think we need to
glad.
hear from everybody.
I'm glad you softened on your position.
There's
and
no
I-
softening, but I'll.
Well, you
I'm
said
listening.
anybody, Jimmy, you said anybody that's for this is a moron. Have you softened that up?
No.
Okay. So this is what you have right now, and all we have to do is listen to what it is. How much is it going to cost? What about safety? And what about the future? These are the things you're going to have to weigh. We don't know. I don't know how much is it going to cost. Are we going to knock down the jail if we keep it there? Are we going to build next to it? Can we fix it while we have 700 prisoners in there? Holy mackerel, everybody. I don't like workmen. I don't even like lawyers going into that facility. The dope doesn't come in through osmosis. I mean, we have attorneys that have smuggled things into that jail. So we don't know what's going to be going on if we have, that's a workspace. So these are a lot of things you have to weigh. And I appreciate, I am confident of one thing, and I want to make this clear. I don't think any county executive or any county could have a finer commission board than I have and the people that you are serving. So I am confident you will come to the right decision. I appreciate this time. Thank you.
Thank you, County Executive. You just reminded me of a quote from the talented Mr. Ripley, but a moron hates it when you call him a moron. I think it was a quote, something like that. But anyway,
It was the paper caught me at a bad time.
so at this time, we will have, as our county executive said, the regional jail update presentation that none of us have on this board have seen. County executive himself has said he hasn't seen it. But it's an update presented by Carter, Goebel, and Lee, whom I believe they're not the names of any of the speakers tonight. Is that correct? Okay.
While they're coming up, did I hear that the vote to move the commissioner meetings to Mays Landing, like I've been asking for since 2016, since it's the county seat?
As soon as they do the repairs to the building we asked for 10 years ago, then we'll do it. Then we'll do it. As soon as they approve it.
That's what I wanted.
I'm ready.
Me too, it's closer.
What else I heard was I should stop drinking my
Much
water.
closer.
Chair,
Yes.
let me introduce Mr. Ross Agawam. Ross is the Camden County Administrator.
Okay.
And Ross will introduce the team that we put together for this regional jail. And then, we'll start the presentation. This is Mr.
Sure,
Ross
yeah.
Agawam.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner, you have a question already?
Yeah, I have one already. Just a quick one. And just bear with me because, I wasn't aware you were coming in and stuff other than it's on the agenda, which is fine. We talked about it with Danny before. Do you represent Atlantic County? You working for Atlantic County right now? Or are you working for Camden County?
I'm the Camden County Administrator,
That's fine. Are you? Well, I know.
top
you're-
faceless bureaucrat in Camden County.
I didn't know if this is like, I didn't know if you had been working with Atlantic County government previously and.
I've worked with Jerry for many, many years.
That, I knew that as administrator you would. I'm talking about your team that's presenting the presentation today.
I'm going to introduce them to
Thank
you.
you. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, we have 2 officials from Carter Goebel Lee. They are the preeminent corrections construction firm in the country. And so who we have here is Ed Watley. And we have Wayne Free is also here from CGL. And then we have Chip Vaughn from the Vaughn Collaborative. He's also another person in this business, and he's working with CGL. In addition to that, we also have Sharon Bean. Stand up, Sharon. She's our jail population manager. We have Holly Cass, who's a deputy county administrator and really the brains behind this project. And and Robin Tainer. So we actually have a lot of people here from CGL. I have David McPeak, who's our financial person who used to work for me as the chief financial officer. And who am I missing? Anybody? No. Okay. So thank you for inviting us to present this project to you. I understand that there is a lot of controversy about this. One thing I think you might all agree on is that you need a new jail. If you agree on that, I'm here to respectfully make the case to you that coming with us and engaging economies of scale is the cheapest, fastest, and best way to take care of this problem. How did we get here? Like most counties, Camden County needs to build a new jail. The jail that it has right now started when I came to work for Camden County. That was 42 years ago. We need a new jail. And we started looking at this and trying to figure out how we would pay for it. And of course, the first thought was, well, we'll issue bonds. Not necessarily the best way to go. Even if we could do it within our debt limit, Wall Street would likely punish us in our bond rating. So there is a new law. It's called the Rehabilitation and Reentry Facility Law. And under that law, a separate entity would be created, and the cost of everything having to do with your jail would be taken out of the Atlantic County budget. That includes, by the way, transportation. You would not be responsible for transportation. The central entity that is going to be created and have equal representation between Atlantic County, if you decide to come with us, Cumberland County, and Camden County. We would run this thing equally. You would be billed in accordance with your jail populations. We each have different populations, although I understand that Atlantic and Camden County have fairly close populations. So the objective of the South Jersey Rehabilitation and Reentry Facility will be to do exactly what its name says. That name was not chosen randomly. We are hoping to rehabilitate and facilitate reentry of people to stop the in and out of jail of people in all of our jails. Is it going to be 100% successful? No. But I will tell you that in other jurisdictions, one in Ohio that we looked at, they were able to lower their recidivism, defined as stay out of jail for a year, by 80%. I'd be happy with 10%, but we're going to go for the 80. So the goal of it is to curtail the revolving door in and out of jail. So most of the people in your jail probably go in and out, and that's a problem, and it's a great cost, all of our counties. I'm going to defer the cost issue to Ed Watley and CGL. He's going to come here and tell you exactly what we think that's going to be, and we believe that you will save if you come with this 3-county collaborative as opposed to trying to build an equivalent facility for yourself. I'll tell you a lot of changes, and you already know this, have happened in the jail industry over the last 40 years. The architect who designed the Camden County Jail, his experience was designing hotels. There was no thought given to how you might design a facility to maximize treatment so that these folks will not be coming back as often as they do. And that's a key difference in what we're trying to get done. So Mr. Watley is going to come up here and talk to you about the cost, but we believe that you will save money coming with us. The actual timeline for doing this, we hope to open a facility Q1 or Q2 2031. 5 years. By the way, that's 5 years of construction jobs that will be done with this. The facility, as you know, will be located on the grounds of Winslow. And all you folks live down here. I know you know that occasionally people walk off the grounds of Ancora. Not necessarily the greatest situation. When we show up there, it will be a lot more secure, But that's one point.
Excuse me, I met one in the liquor store. I remember
Ancora Liquors, that's where they go. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's not kidding. So under the law, this South Jersey, the Regional Rehabilitation and Reentry Facility law, each participating county will be effectively out of the jail business. So what does that mean? All the costs that you pay right now, run and operate that jail, will be taken out of your levy, out of your budget. And they will reside with the central entity, which you will have equal representation on, along with the other two counties. We envision each warden being on the board. This is something that I want to emphasize. This new facility being designed, it will be designed by Carter Goebel Lee, will be way safer than any jail that exists in South Jersey now. In Camden County, I'm the chair of our insurance commission. And every month we hear workers' compensation cases about staff and corrections officers who are injured in our jail. This jail will be designed to maximize safety. It'll be a much better place to work. We have been talking for 2 or 3 years now, right, Holly? 3 years with the FOP and the PBA. They're both, so far, they're in favor of this project because they understand what it will provide their members. So it'll support staff recruitment and retention. I don't know what your issue is with staffing for your jail, but I will tell you that we have a problem. We are about 90 corrections officers short. It's not easy to find people to do this job. It's a difficult job. But if we all get together, again, economies of scale, we can help each other out with that. Each county will, as I said, will share in the composition and administration of the central entity, equal representation. It'll be built in accordance with the best practices and state-of-the-art policies and procedures. That's why we hired CGL. They are the preeminent firm in the country. They've been doing this for over 50 years. This is all they do. This is not their first rodeo. Finally, and County Executive Levinson did, I think, mention this, demolition of your old jail might create some economic development opportunities. And again, the chief goal of this is not simply to warehouse people in advance of trial. That's easy. We could build a corrugated steel building and throw them in there. What we're trying to do is something that will facilitate trying to stop these folks from being on the wrong path, which obviously they are. They go in and out of jail. This is the rehabilitation and reentry facility. That is the focus. So with that, I think I'm going to invite Ed Watley up here. He is from CGL and he knows his stuff.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Ed Wadley. I'm the Director of Program Management for CGL. I have with me other team members that I'll introduce here in a second. Next slide, please. This is the agenda that we have prepared for today's presentation. Certainly, we're not bound to this. If there are questions that come up throughout the presentation, we're happy to take those either during the presentation or at the end of the presentation. Next slide, please. Carter Global Lee, the company that we represent today, as Ross mentioned, we've been in the criminal justice business for over 50 years. And one thing we have learned to be very true, and that is when you talk about criminal justice, you can't talk about simply the physical plant or the operations. They're so interwoven. You really have to talk about everything at once. And so we focus on really addressing every aspect of a criminal justice organization and facility, starting with program management, starting with site selection, forecasting, population projection, planning, programming, all the way through the design, the construction management, transition activation, and then on through life cycle planning, facility management. The reason we do this, again, is that we try to provide holistic solutions. As you're well aware, criminal justice facilities, criminal justice organizations are very complicated. And so by focusing on holistic client service, we make sure that we try to provide complete answers to the problems and the challenges that organizations face. Next slide, please. We have a team of over 100 people that are available to work on this project. I have 5 people in the room with me today. Again, my name is Ed Wadley. I am the Director of Program Management. I also have Chloe Jaco. Chloe has been with Carter Global Lee for over 25 years. She's our Director of Planning. Chloe has worked on justice facilities across the country. Also, Dr. Robin Timmey, a psychologist, very familiar, an industry expert in behavioral health as relates to the criminal justice system. Wayne Free, extremely familiar with construction management, in particular modular construction within the detention community. And last, Chip Vaughn. Chip is here. He's been working on detention facilities in New Jersey for many decades. He's our local partner. Is an expert at delivering public works projects in the state of New Jersey. Next slide, please. Please.
I do want to say one other thing. The cost of all this talent that we've hired, we've been able to secure over $30 million over the last 3 or 4 years from the state of New Jersey, which we are spending for the good of this project for all counties. And that includes the cost of all these folks. Thank you.
So we'd like to do a deep dive in many of the things that Ross has already mentioned. I'd like to start by asking Chip to come and give a more detailed background on how we got to this point, how Camden and Cumberland got to the point of supporting the S&J RRC, the Southern New Jersey Rehabilitation and Reentry Center.
Throughout this presentation, you're going to hear many common threads of the information we're going to provide. Basically, I was brought on board under a previous iteration of this facility about 10 years ago in Burlington County. Was interested in this concept. CGL was not on board at that time, but Camden County never lost interest. What happened with that initiative is we couldn't find the proper site, and we met resistance. And obviously, the intent was to position it in Cumberland County, and we were unable to do that. So, but with Camden's interest in introducing CGL to the process, it's not only no longer a detention facility, a regional detention facility, it's a reentry and rehabilitation facility. And this is what they're doing nationally. And I'm working with them on, not with them directly, they're advising Department of Corrections, and we're working on the new women's prison, which is going to be in Burlington County. The concept is to certainly offer not only treatment, but make it a little more user-friendly for the incarcerated people. At the same time, being keenly focused on the security and safety of the people working there, and make that environment very good for that work experience. Next slide. When we started this process, with the inability to find a site, we were fortunate enough to have Camden research it through Holly and Ross. And by the way, they shepherded the legislation through for the authority documentation through the state. And they had located Ancora as a potential site. And that is where we're looking at currently. Next slide. Operational parameters. We went over transportation, and certainly the authority would have full control over the transportation of IPs, incarcerated people, where they're picked up at satellite facilities and taken to the regional facility. Coordination of all that will be coordinated with local municipalities and the counties. Main point is to discourage repeat offenders from coming back to the facility, the recidivism that we spoke about. That being said, Ed, sure.
Some of the operating parameters, again, the S&J RRC will be a new operating entity governed by its own authority, a newly created authority. That authority will have the power to tax citizens directly. As Ross mentioned, the costs and taxes associated with the current facility will come out the county budget and be the responsibility of the authority. The staff will be employees of the regional facility authority, but there will be no loss of existing benefits. As Ross mentioned, this has the support of several organizations associated with the staff. The operating intent is that local law enforcement agencies, upon making an arrest, will transport detainees to satellite facilities located in the various counties. From there, the authority will have the responsibility to transport the individual to the regional facility. While in custody, they will be in the custody of the authority, in the authority's custody until they are returned for release. Next slide, please. I do think it's important to directly address the question of why we need a new facility and why communities may come to the decision that a new facility is needed. Certainly, there are a lot of things that a lot of problems you can have with existing facilities. Some of those problems include not necessarily limited to outdated design. Certainly, facilities designed currently look a lot different than they did generations ago. Construction deficiencies, physical plant problems, deferred maintenance problems. You get to a point where an existing facility may not work. Capacity deficiencies, overcrowding, if you don't have enough space for the people you're trying to detain. And also capability deficiencies. Incarcerated individuals today need different things than you might have seen previously. Things like mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment, reentry support. It is possible, and some people look and determine that attempting to retrofit or upgrade an existing facility, but many organizations look and understand that it is cost prohibitive to try to upgrade an existing facility to meet current standards and current needs. And they come to the decision that a new facility is the best course of action. This obviously represents a major investment of public funds. We are certainly aware of that. And so it's only fair to ask and answer the question, what benefits can the public expect to see as a result of this investment? Next slide, please. We like to talk about the concept of better outcomes. If we were to ask different people in the community, commissioners, if we were to ask just everyday citizens, certainly families of the incarcerated, victims of crime, people who work in the facilities, people who administer the facilities, what an improved outcome may look like, we'd get a lot of different answers. Some of the things that we hope to achieve through designing and building and operating new modern detention facilities, this includes improved public safety, reduced recidivism, right? The idea that we're going to try to equip people with the skills once they're released to stay out and not continue coming back. Certainly reduced incidents of violence, inmate on inmate, inmate on staff, and even staff on inmate. Reduced liability for participating organizations. Better staff working conditions is a challenge to attract and recruit and retain qualified staff. Better working conditions, we believe, will aid in that effort. And certainly cost optimization. We do believe that due to economies of scale, larger facilities are more cost efficient. But how do modern facilities help achieve these better outcomes? To answer that question, I'd like to call on Dr. Robin Timmy and also Chloe Jaco. They are going to do more of a deep dive into the benefits of modern detention facilities.
Thank you, Ed, for the fun ones. And I think Ed's done a great job of hitting a lot of points here, if you don't mind going to the next slide. I think if you've toured your own facility, we've actually been in your jail and your courthouse.
For work.
Yeah. So let's clarify. We have toured them and talked to the whole criminal justice system, all your different stakeholders, because you're right, this is a system, and how would the county is going to function overall is a paramount to us. But when we talk about just the detention facility itself, when we talk about what are the benefits of a modern facility, we'd love to take people on tours because it is hard. You only know kind of what you've seen. But I'm sure you're very aware that the population that you're housing today is much different than it was 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, right? We're seeing a lot more of issues with healthcare needs and aging of the population and mental health concerns, keep separates, gangs, different nationalities, language barriers. I mean, just everything you could imagine is compiling the facility and trying to figure out how to manage it. And so a lot of that does come into the area that I like to work in, which is space and the type of space we need. And so I think it's just important to know that we want to talk about outcomes, safety first, obviously, public safety, and then better outcomes for those incarcerated, the family going there, and the staff, and all of the justice stakeholders themselves.
Yeah, so I'm Robin Timmy, and I'm a clinical psychologist, and I often wonder why I end up in spaces like this. But then I meet people like Chloe who teach me about concepts like purpose-built design, and that's what we talk about today. So I spent the first half of my career as the chief psychologist in the state of Delaware's 14 correctional facilities. And I left because I believed that we could have a better impact on policy across the country and build facilities that actually do what we want them to do. So I spent all those years delivering services, mental health services, in facilities that were never designed to do that. And what we've learned about purpose-built design is that we begin by studying the population of the people who are going to come into the front door of the facility. Atlantic County reflects a lot that's happening across the country, and it's also unique in some ways. The people who come through your front door have a risk profile that is much higher than most places, meaning that you're doing a better job of keeping people in jail who have been charged with indictable offenses and who pose a public risk. What that means is that you have a population that's more likely to be violent, a population that's going to be staying with us for a little while, and a population that has high needs, things like behavioral health needs, serious mental illness, substance use disorders. And knowing that obligates us as a society to do something while we have them in our custody and our care. If we want to create safer communities, we need to create healthier communities. We also see the same thing with the staff. Correctional officers present with the same levels of post-traumatic stress disorder and other medical and behavioral health conditions because of the toxic stress of the places that they work. And we need to create safer working environments that have better outcomes for our staff as well. Attract, recruit, retain, promote, and celebrate all of our correctional officers and the non-uniformed staff that work there.
Yeah, the service providers,
The service
volunteers and chaplains, all the people that come to this facility.
And so when we have this conversation, only then do we start talking about the spaces that are needed to support that. And when you think about all those things I just said, and then you walk through your current jail, they just don't exist to do those things.
Next slide.
So we are asking our systems now to do something different than we did previously and not to shoehorn things in. And so we have an opportunity here to engage in a dialogue with communities, 3 communities, hopefully, to identify what are those needs so that we can meet them responsively and return citizens to the community who are less likely to engage in the behaviors that led them to our front door in the first place.
And I think when you look at the newer designs and best practices, the mindset is not on containment like it was in the past. It's more on management and engagement to get better outcomes. So again, we need to have those spaces near where the housing are to provide programs and access to services and to have the justice stakeholders have access to them. And that includes, use of technology, right? How we can better improve the system itself through that. And you can see here, I mean, obviously compliance with all types of different applicable standards, whether it's from the American Correctional Association, the National Healthcare Standards for Corrections, there's your own state standards, PREA. So all of that has to come into play into coming into the best environment that's going to meet all the requirements and also the needs of your population.
Yeah, if you go to the next slide, you'll just see a list of some of those services that are required in facilities today. And remember, that word required is really important. There are constitutional obligations for things like healthcare today that didn't exist when this building was built. And those are things like having an infirmary, a place that is below the level of care of a hospital, but above that of general population. Right now in your facility, they're taking medical patients out to hospitals and off-site because they don't have those capabilities. And each person that goes off-site requires a two-man backup, 2 officers that they don't have to spare in the facility right now. So these are efficiencies that are really important to meet those constitutional requirements as well.
Right. And just another benefit of having kind of the regional collaboration, bringing everybody together, getting those services to one spot that everybody can benefit from.
I'll pass the mic now.
All right. Thank you.
So if you come to the conclusion that a new facility is needed, then the question becomes, what is the best way to deliver that new facility? We're going to present, I guess, the logic or the reasoning behind the regional facility, and a lot of this grounded in cost. And very specifically, we believe that due to economies of scale, a regional facility is the most cost-efficient option to build, operate, and maintain a new facility for Southern New Jersey. Next slide, please. Just a brief background. I'm sure most people are very familiar with this, but economies of scale basically says that larger operations can do things more effectively. This is not something we came up with. This is, certainly something that is studied business schools across the country. In the case of this facility, next slide, please. Really larger facilities, larger regional facilities are more efficient, more cost efficient to build, maintain, and operate than comparable smaller county facilities. Said differently, the cost to build, maintain, and operate one 3,000 bed facility will be less than the collective cost to build 3 1,000 bed facilities. When we talk about cost, we measure cost in terms of cost, total cost per detainee, per inmate, per day. Next slide, please. The economies of scale that we see in a single detention facility, you can see them in lots of different places. Some of them are in design. In terms of the total number of square feet per bed. When you take support spaces and spread them out among more people, you have less support space per every single bed. Construction costs, certainly larger facilities are going to be cheaper to build in terms of a cost per square foot than comparably built smaller facilities. Staffing costs, staffing efficiencies go up with more detainees in one facility. Inmate services, a lot of the services that are present in a facility are contracted out: food service, medical service, healthcare, things of that nature. Certainly, the greater the number of detainees that are served, the more efficient the price is for those inmate services. Next slide, please. I mentioned earlier that we at CGL attempt to talk in terms of holistic service, and as a result of that, we also talk in terms of total cost of ownership. But we can't simply talk in terms of the project cost or the construction cost. We really have to look at all costs associated with a facility, both the physical plant cost, the construction cost, the maintenance cost, but also the long-term operating cost. Again, facility operations are very closely tied to facility design, construction, and maintenance. And that's true in a lot of industries, certainly healthcare. If you go to a hospital, a healthcare operation is very closely tied to the design and construction of the facility. And that is absolutely the case in detention and corrections. Certainly current operations could vary significantly in new facilities as opposed to old facilities. And so we have to make sure that we give the organizations we work for a planning tool and a budgeting tool to help them understand what the long-term costs are going to be. And that's why we speak in terms of total cost of ownership. Next slide, please. When we looked at the total cost of ownership for the Southern New Jersey Regional Rehabilitation and Reentry Center, we certainly looked at things like the project cost. We converted the projected project cost into annual debt service payments, annual preventive maintenance, things you do on an annual basis to make sure the facility is maintained, along with life cycle replacement cost, replacing equipment and building components to make sure the building continues to operate in the manner needed by the organization. Staffing cost. Cost for inmate services, transportation costs. I heard it mentioned earlier, the cost between the facility and the county satellite facilities. Those costs are included in the cost projections we have done. And certainly there's thousands of different operating costs. We've attempted to account for all those costs within the cost projections we've done. Subsequent cost models we expect will refine these costs further, but the concept of economies of scale holds true. The larger the facility, we believe the more efficient the operations can be in terms of cost. Next slide, please. Go back one slide if I could. I had missed one. I'll interject this. The costs that are presented here are simply projections. Certainly, these are not final cost, but we believe that these are educated projections based on our experience, our professional judgment. I don't want anyone to say that these are absolute binding final cost. But certainly, the final cost will vary once certain variables are turned into facts. But again, the concept of economies of scale, we believe, holds true. Next slide, please. There's my disclaimer. Certainly, these projections based on historical data, reasonable assumptions, and the best judgment of our project team. But certainly, we can't predict future events with absolute certainty. So it is possible that the cost from years 2031 and beyond may differ up, may differ down. But again, due to economies of scale, we still believe that the regional facility is the most cost-efficient alternative. Next slide. These are the costs that we are projecting for the regional facility. This is the entire facility for all 3 participating counties. This includes yearly debt service. We listed out the first 5 years. Certainly, we carried the projections on for about a 30-year period. But highlighting the first 5 years here, debt service for the new facility, we project at around $103 million. Utilities and maintenance lifecycle replacement, we show in year 1 around $19.5 million. Staffing cost, we project at around $73 million. And then other operating costs, transportation costs, logistics costs, officer uniforms, all those different things account for another $40 million. The total projected cost, we believe, in the first year of operations for all 3 participating counties, if it comes to 3 counties, would be around $238 million. And that includes everything: operations, debt service. When you look at a projected average daily population of 1,896 detainees, that comes up to a total cost per person per day of around $344.51. You can see that over time, this does increase slightly. Obviously, escalation is going to impact some of the cost items. That's true in most lines. That is going to be true here. But you also see that if you look down at the bottom, the total cost per day per detainee is projected to grow very slowly. The reason behind that is that a big chunk of the cost in the debt service remain fixed. It is only about 55% of the cost that is subject to escalation. So as an aggregate, you see about 1.5% to 2% cost growth year over year. Next slide, please.
Excuse me, before we move on.
Yes, sir.
Can you show, is there a comparison of what we're paying now versus what it'd be if you don't want it?
We
cost per day.
Yeah. What are we paying today now for our purposes?
Okay, maybe. Not really sure.
Yeah, we certainly can look at that. There has been some look at the cost data. We have some questions about the completeness of that data, but certainly we're happy to attempt to compare.
Well, I would think if you were talking about us participating, that you would show us the comparison, the cost savings of what that would be.
Well, I will say that really the comparison is between doing an individual facility on your own as opposed to a new facility collaborative. Certainly, anytime you talk about a new facility, total cost is going to go up. So I don't want to say that there would be cost savings as opposed, compared to what you are spending now. The cost savings comes between the comparison of a new individual county facility as opposed to a new regional facility. Did that answer your question, sir?
Kind of. I think the format that we're using, we talk about a deeper dive. There's too many questions that we would have instead of we should have had a pre-meeting for us to go through, get more questions asked, because this is not the format to do that. So I'm listening. It's very interesting, but it's frustrating because you generate more questions than you can answer today.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. certainly as the projections progress, as the project progresses, a lot of these projections and assumptions will be turned into facts. And so we will be able to further refine the cost projections. Again, the actual facility capacity, once that is further refined, facility size, right now we're in the programmatic stage. But once we get to actual drawings, we'll be able to nail down the facility size better. But again, regardless of where the final numbers come out, we still believe that the concept of economies of scale, that the larger regional facility will be more cost efficient than a comparably designed, built, operated, and maintained individual county facility.
But I also add that in some cases where you try and do it per inmate per day, whatever the cost is, you're not capturing all of the expenses the county's expending. For example, you have Public Works working there, you have other agencies are so that's where the numbers are skewed a little bit. So this may look more expensive per inmate, but if you capture all those other services that are being provided to your jail, then you'll see that number will escalate slightly.
Next slide, please. We can make this statement. Looks like we did have a formatting issue. What does this result for Atlantic County projected in the first year of operation? We showed that at a cost of $344 per inmate, that results in about $86 million for Atlantic County in the first year of operations. We do believe that compared to a comparably built, operated county facility, we believe that our cost will be 10 to 15% less than to build a comparable facility specific to Atlantic County. We have done that comparison on a 800-bed facility, for example. Again, these yearly costs, as measured in terms of per inmate per day costs, they are expected to be relatively stable, looking at yearly increases from around 1.25% to 2%. Next slide, please. We mentioned this earlier. Where are the economies of scale seen in a detention facility? I already went through this list. I won't go through that again, but I do want to show this. Next slide, please. When you look at the total budget that we have projected, around 87% of the total budget is going to be positively impacted. It'll be helped by combining efforts and taking advantage of those economies of scale with a larger facility. Greater purchasing power for supplies, inmate programs, inmate services will be subject to taking advantage of the economies of scale that we mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. There are project benefits beyond simply economies of scale, and a lot of these Ross already mentioned. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but again, regional collaboration for staffing. Certainly staffing is a challenge. That is true of most justice organizations across the country. I don't think it's any different here. The opportunity for the three counties to work together to pool resources to make sure that there's adequate staffing for the new facility.
And this rendering down at the bottom of the page we developed, that would be a typical housing unit. And you can see with daylighting, staffing control, it's very efficient. Obviously, it varies per shift, and the amount, the late shift when everybody's sleeping is different. But you can see it's a safe, well-lit environment. It's healthy and contributes to the operation of the sworn staff. And this would be typical for the housing units. Obviously, there's special places in this facility for people who, let's say, don't behave correctly. So.
Can I ask another question?
Please.
What's the projected cost of our participation?
If you would go back one slide, please. Back one more, please. Yeah. The projected 2031 cost would be around $86 million.
What's our cost now for the year? Jerry, you know what projected cost for per year?
Yeah, right now, it is between 40 and 42 million. That's without the indirect cost. That's where we've had our discussions about costs. Your indirect costs in a new facility become direct costs. So things that we do now, for example, the jail doesn't have its own purchasing agent. you build a new jail, you need a purchasing agent. And so, how does our purchasing agent get assigned to the jail? Those are the kinds of things. They don't have their own treasurer, so they gotta have, somebody's assigned from the treasurer's office to handle those accounts. So those are the issues that we've been going back and forth about those costs.
And we
They're called
can't use,
indirect costs.
we can't use our present costs right now in an antiquated facility. If we decide we want to build in Mays Landing, we have to keep in mind that we have to demolish the old facility. What do we do with the inmates that are there while we're demolishing it? And also, what we're paying right now, the debt service is not in there, and all the amenities. So if we have to make it apples and apples. The fact that we may be paying, it used to be $89, $90, I figure it's $120 a day at the facility right now, but it'll be far more than that when we build a new facility in Mays Landing. If we do that, we're still going to have the debt service and all the other costs that are along here. So that 120 is going to be wishful thinking.
And that's what we tried to state is those departments and agencies that support the jail aren't really captured in that 40 million. It's outside of that.
I got a quick question, guys. And Jerry probably can answer this, or Mike. What's the inmate population in Atlantic County only, not the ones we're taking in? What's our inmate population generally?
I let him answer because it changes every day.
I know that. That's why I'm just. Is it 400 a day, Atlantic County? Because I know we take
750, was that the count? Mike? Yeah, Mike.
750.
We worked 771 today. We took out the contract inmates. It'd be like 740.
So it's you're only taking a few out of county inmates? That was a lot more than that.
35, maybe 50 inmates between Burlington, a few from Cumberland, a few from Gloucester. The Burlington females, we house them all. It's about 36 to 40 on any given day, depending.
Our incarceration rate in our facility right now is upward close to 70% as opposed to other counties where they're at around 30 or 40%. So your question may be, why is that? If we're paying $120 a day, why are we paying so much more? And I'm not in disagreement with this prosecutor. These people are not out on the streets. They're locked up. There's bail reform now, and he may define bail reform a little different than other counties define it. So our bad guys are incarcerated at I think double the rate of other places. Now, you may see that is that fair? Guys sitting in jail for 6 to 8 months, he may admit to anything to get the hell out of there. So it's a two-sided coin. But this prosecutor has been, in my opinion, extremely efficient on keeping bad guys behind bars rather than keep locking them up and relocking them up. So that's why our costs are where they are, and why our numbers are where they are, so much more than the other counties. And I believe we're the only county that are approaching 70% incarceration.
That answer your question, sir?
Yes.
I just want to reiterate one thing, and that is a new facility, be it a county facility or a regional facility, obviously is going to cost a lot of money. And as a result, overall costs will go up. But again, our belief is that costs will go up less through a regional facility than through a comparably built individual county facility. To incorporate all the services, all the features, things that Chloe and Dr. Timmy talked about, in order to build a current facility that meets today's needs and accounts for future flexibility, we believe the most cost-efficient manner of doing that is through a regional facility.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm sorry, I should have asked this earlier. What's the inmate population coming out of Camden? What are you guys housing per your jail per day?
About 850 right now.
850. Is that stays pretty standard, 850, or is it dips up and down like a lot of them do?
It's pretty stable right now. When I started working as administrator 21 years ago, we had 2,200 inmates, and we worked with a consultant out of Florida. We did not let anyone out of jail. We simply worked with the courts and the prosecutor to make the system go faster. And this is, yes, bail reform helped us, about 50%, but what we did, making the system faster, also helped us. And so we went from 2,200 down to about 850 right now.
Yes, because you're
And that's
turning the
all-
cases over quicker, so.
Sorry?
You're turning the cases over quicker, so.
Exactly.
That gets them
And we
in and
can
out of
quantify
jail.
that. That's what Sharon Bean does for us, working with the courts. And, you know, we had to convince them. I felt like I was at the OK Corral at high noon, and I was the only guy without bullets. We had to persuade them of the wisdom of doing this. We did, and it paid off.
The population is a very interesting question.
And by the way, excuse me, one thing.
It's Cumberland.
Crime in Camden
200.
is at a 50-year low.
What's Cumberland, like 200? What's their
No, they're
inmates?
more than, Holly, how much?
No, they're closer to 430, something like that.
Oh, 430?
430.
We're paid,
Something like that.
we're paid per capita. We pay per capita, we pay per capita, you know, what we have. So if you have a lenient prosecutor, which we don't have, you'll be paying far less. It's a two-sided coin. And the complaints I get from many defense attorneys about the prosecutor, all I can say is that I agree with what he's doing, although we have no power over the prosecutor except paying him. But that's why our incarceration rate is where it is. Hey, look, as far as the bail reform is concerned, you're out on summons, and then the next thing you know, it's a warrant. So this way, we know that they're contained.
The average daily population that we projected for year one of operations, which is 2031, was 1896. That is the total of the three counties. But built into our budget, we actually are projecting building between 22 and 2,300 beds. When you look at populations, you have to account for a peaking factor. Certainly that population of 1896 is an average, but it's certainly not static over the first year. You will have fluctuations. One of the nice things about that is when you do have that peaking factor, that little bit of excess gives the law enforcement operators, those professionals, the ability to properly manage the inmate population, which is one thing that most jurisdictions cite as a challenge, simply the inability to properly manage and classify their detainees due to a lack of space. We took a 2041 population projection, and that was the basis of this cost estimates, because giving at least the first 10 years of operation enough population flexibility to properly manage the population.
If we had this conversation 27 years ago when I became county executive, we would have looked about 1,200, 1,250 inmates in the same facility. And it was very, very difficult to maintain. We were triple bunking. The federal government, the state government was coming in, the Department of Prisons. We had a hard time back then.
Another quick question. The legislation we talked about, the Rehabilitation Act, that the state allowed us to get together with a regional facility. There's going to be at least, if Atlantic County participates, you have 2 wardens right now. 3, could be 4, could be 5. Who runs the operation? Are all the wardens kept on board, managing their operation, answering their own particular questions for how's that working?
Well, first off, the representation on the board that runs the facility will be equally made up. If you were to come in, it would be Atlantic, Cumberland, and Camden, equal representation.
Are they the wardens doing it, or is it an appointed
I would
person?
think that the wardens should be on that
Well,
board.
that's why I'm
Yes.
asking, where it's an appointed person coming from each, county administrator or something. No, okay, it's the warden.
No,
So
no.
we got a professional.
By the way, wardens are mentioned in the New Jersey Constitution, so they're not going anywhere. We need the wardens. But to answer your question, it would be run centrally by this entity that's created under the law. Camden County, Cumberland County, and Atlantic County would be effectively out of the jail business.
And then anything that happens for the cost that operate those facilities, any future changes, any modifications or additions to the facilities, any programs that are going to be added for the inmates, anything like that, those costs will be broken down per county. Each county has its own amount of inmates per head, and that cost gets put into the county budget, like you get a library tax.
No, it does not go into the county budget. It's taxed directly. It's part of your property tax bill.
All right, so
But your, hold on, but your levy correspondingly drops.
Well, not
I understand it comes out of one pocket and it's in another one.
It does, and the argument here is that doing
Property
it
tax bill.
together is more
So that'll be
efficient.
right on the homeowner's property tax bill. He'll get a number for incarceration or whatever, rehabilitation.
I'd
How
like
are
to
they
call
gonna
it bowl of cherries, but yeah, you're right.
All right. Oh, great.
In other words, you know what your library tax is, you know what your open space.
That's in the property tax bill. It's automatic. There's no discussion for, you don't have any, you're not coming to the commissioner board. It's all pulled out.
That's what I was gonna ask, Mr. Chair, if I could. I have several questions, but just given time, we don't have to necessarily answer them all here. I do agree with my colleague. This does need to go to committee for further due diligence.
100%.
But cost, do the costs consider having a PLA in place or prevailing wage as part of the construction costs? Are elected, okay, thank you. Are elected officials on the advisory board? To me, you can't have taxation without representation. So there,
You appoint the advisory board, so
so it hasn't been defined.
no.
Okay, so I would say that should happen. How are we solving the problem of attracting minimum needed staff that we can't solve today?
Well, again, that's,
And don't say a better work environment.
look, I can only tell you that if we do this together, we go a long way in solving the staffing problem. I don't know how short you are now. We're about 90 to 100 short. If we work together, again, economies of scale, it's economics 101. We will be able to do this more efficiently together.
To me, the only way to do that is to increase the salary, but okay.
Well, you might be right about that. You probably are right about that.
Are all current staff, so in our case, all of our current corrections officers, any staff at the jail today, automatically hired by the new entity?
I'm not exactly sure how that will work, but yes, we are short corrections officers. So there's no correction officer who's going to get laid off because you join this collaborative.
Again, devil in the details, right? Like the people component of this is so important. So I would just encourage the jail committee to stipulate that in the governing rules.
That is an assumption that we've been working under.
Okay. And then I also agree, we need a baseline comparison on our current state today, costs, direct, indirect, all that. Estimated state if we were to do it alone. And then we have the estimated state if it was regionalized. We have to have that viewpoint, not only for us to make a decision, but for the public's benefit. So those are just some questions that I have. Thank you.
So let me just, as the county executive, that would be a deal breaker as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to let go people that have been loyal and come to work every day under serious, questionable conditions and let them go if we can consolidate. They have to be worked into the new jail program, if that's the way we go. We build our own, we're going to keep them. So unless that's taken into consideration.
As long as they can be licensed,
Oh, yeah.
we're not going to be laying off anybody. As long as they can continue the license.
We're not recruiting off the street now, so I mean, they're qualified now.
They have to be ready.
Are you guys all civil service too? And Cumberland is as well?
Yes.
I'm just asking for bumping and all that jazz, you know?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Of course. I'm willing to let other commissioners ask questions at this point, but I think there are only a couple of slides left.
Yeah, we're close to the end. We can go through and then I'll wrap this up. Next slide, please. Touch that one again. Where do we see the economies of scale? Been through this list, and then the next slide shows that we believe that around 87%, maybe more, of the budget would stand to benefit. That those line items do benefit from the economies of scale we discussed earlier. Next slide. Again, some of the project benefits, we mentioned regional collaboration for staffing. Since day one, our operating assumption has been that every current employee of one of the jails in Camden, Cumberland, or Atlantic would have the opportunity to continue their career at the new S&J RRC, but as an employee of the authority and not necessarily as a county employee. But again, this plan has been endorsed by the various law enforcement unions that Ross mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. In addition to the monetary benefits, we also believe that this is the fastest way to a new facility. Certainly, these are complicated projects. We've put a lot of work into this already. A couple years down the road, based on conversations with Ross, we believe probably have at least a 2-year head start. Certainly, if other counties try to do an individual facility. Next slide, please. Reducing liability. Ross touched on this again. One of the benefits that Ross's and others at Camden and Cumberland have expressed to us is simply the ability to get out of the jail business. With that, next slide, please. If we had to summarize the benefits that we see through this project, replaces existing jails with a facility that is designed, built, and operated at current standards, and also gives you the projected capabilities for future needs, the future operating environment. Again, the fastest path to building and occupying and operating a new facility. We believe it is the most cost efficient. Certainly staffing, collaboration, efficiencies, the 3 counties working together, we believe will have a greater chance of properly staffing this facility than individual county facilities. Ross mentioned earlier the creation of economic opportunities at the location of the existing facilities, and also shifting liability from counties to the regional authority. Certainly, we're happy to continue taking questions, but that is the end of the prepared slides.
Well, first of all, I mean, I asked for this presentation well in advance, and I'm, a little disappointed, I guess, as Commissioner Days was, that it wasn't more pertinent and specific to Atlantic County. I do want to say that this definitely has to be hashed out in the jail committee. And I want to encourage anybody from the public that may not get a chance to speak today, email, reach out to your commissioners, any other commissioners who do not serve on the jail committee, any questions that have not been answered that comes up later once you take a look at this, or the questions that were generated by other questions that you may hear the public asking. It definitely has to go to the jail committee. I'm curious, so what year was the legislation that created this entity passed? You said it was Senate Bill 4134, but that changes every year. I don't know. 22, 23. So none of this information that Commissioner Gatto asked about is specified in that bill as far as who's going to constitute the board. What I know is you said equal representation, but who's going to be spending the taxpayers' money? You mentioned you have to have a treasurer. I'm assuming there's going to have to be an attorney negotiating the union contracts of the employees.
All of that is being developed in the creation of the authority board, but the legislation did not specify how the board would be.
So who's currently developing those ideas, those thoughts?
We have a committee working.
Camden County has a committee. Okay.
I mentioned that we received about a little over $30 million we've been able to get from the state. And we've been spending that money preparing the things that you're talking about. And if you were in on the project, you would, of course, be right there with us developing this.
So it's 30 million.
What did we get?
Why did they give you the 30 million?
It's for the purpose of developing a shared service regional facility for jails in South Jersey. That is what we said to them.
So is Cumberland County also involved in the process currently?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Commissioner.
Yeah, I noticed that the 10.75 million was in last year's budget to Camden County, I think for you guys, and it said for rehabilitate, jail, whatever we want to call rehabilitate. So that was your third phase. How did you go? Does Cumberland get state aid, or would Atlantic County get state aid too, to help defer some of the startup costs that are going to be pretty obvious?
Well, first off, we're going to pay, that 30 million isn't just for Camden County, it's for any.
It's developing the whole thing.
Correct. And then my plan at least is going forward, I'd like to, and this is where Atlantic County can help. If you were to be in our project, that I believe would make us a pretty formidable entity vis-a-vis the state in requesting support, annual support for the taxpayers of each county.
So
That's the goal.
so the money you got was through your legislative team that got the state to put it in the budget?
Yeah.
Probably Lou Greenwald, whatever.
It was a lot of people, but yes, we did get the
Shouldn't
money.
say his name out loud.
And that money will be spent collaboratively.
Okay. Maybe we can get money.
Well, you should try.
I think.
We'd like to get our waterfront done too.
Are there any other additional commissioner comments at this time? Again, it's going to go to the jail committee. I mean, I'm sure we all have multiple questions at this point because it wasn't very specific to Atlantic County.
There are many, many questions that I still have, and I'll reserve those for jail committee. There's one, is there an exit? Is there an exit clause? If we get into this partnership, things are not what we think it should be, how do we get out?
I would have to defer to,
There's no extra.
You don't.
You have
Once
to
you're
make-
in, you're in.
You have to make a decision about whether you're in or whether you're not. I understand your request for specific dollars. And Ed touched on it. He spoke in terms of percent of savings. I think you said it would be 15 to some other percent less than if you tried to build an equal facility. By the numbers that we looked at and projected for Atlantic County, we believe the savings would be between $14 and $34 million vis-a-vis, compared to what you would pay on your own if you did it on your own. 14 to 34 million a year.
Well, then you do have an answer to that question.
I'd like to think I just answered
Yeah,
it.
you did, but when the pastor asked that, I don't think that was.
No, we told, and that's what I wanted, that's why I wanted to say hard numbers to you. Because we mentioned a percentage of savings, but if you want dollars, our current estimate, and these folks, this is not their first rodeo. They're telling us between 14 and 34 million dollars each year. If you were to do it collaboratively versus, you know what, we're gonna build a new Atlantic County jail.
So if we know that, and then we can just compare that with building a new jail here in the county by ourselves.
Right,
We have something.
and again, those are the projections now, and you want to tell me this after.
Yeah, just said that first.
Right, but if you're doing it with economies of scale, if the prices happen to go up, they're gonna go up whether or not you build on your own or you build with us.
Well, I think we all understand economies of scale, but I mean, we wanted more specific to Atlantic County. I mean, we try to operate on that all the time and consortiums and.
34 million.
And I, and again, just off the top, without it being hashed out further in committee, I'm just concerned about who's going to actually, who is going to be sending our county taxpayers a property tax bill. That's, no, I realize that, but I'm speaking specifically. From whom will that be coming? Specific names, representation, things like that, but.
The entity, by the way, has not yet been stood up.
Right.
Right? So I would tell you that this meeting, and maybe other meetings that we will have with you if you have further questions, which I'm sure you will, but we're nearing the end of what I call the aggregation phase. We've spoken, our team has spoken to almost every, with the exception possibly of Cape May, every county in South Jersey, from Ocean and Mercer south to Cape May. Everybody had an opportunity to do this. It's a daunting project. I get why you might not want to do it, but I think you really ought to think about reality and the fact of if we all are in this together, we will spend less money than we would spend each alone.
And that was my question. Who else did you speak with? So you did talk to all and what was their concerns? Why didn't they consider that? So they're hearing the same argument we're hearing. Do they have facilities that are not that old? Do they have?
Believe me, just about, I have to tell you, I think Camden County's jail might be in the best shape. And I'm not going to tell you that it's in good shape. I got told 15, 16 years ago that we needed to spend $17 million on windows. And that's 17, figure out what that might be now. I mean, it's ridiculous.
So if we decide one way or the other, if we decide to go in with Camden and Cumberland, then we have to have a collaborative meeting with the three, correct?
Daily.
Yes.
My final question, what's the time frame?
We expect that we will be opening the southern.
A decision.
Excuse me?
For us to make a decision.
Oh, the timeframe for you to make a decision. I'm going to tell you, I'd like you to make it fairly quickly because we want to move from aggregation to planning and construction and design.
And as far as administration is concerned, we have to do maintenance in there. We're looking at millions of dollars replacing the locks. I know it sounds like a lot, but, and also the windows. What are we looking at, Jared?
The locks is gonna be $1 million, the windows, several million, probably between 2 and 3
So
million.
we don't want to be doing these things and knocking it down, or, so we want to make this, kind of put it in front burner.
All right. Are there any other additional commissioner comments? Because we would like to open up to the public, but I do want to remind them that, try not to be repetitive. First of all, we are going to go to the jail committee. So if you have questions that come up later, please reach out to your commissioners so they can ask them in the jail committee when they're looking at more of the details of this. But I know a good portion of the public is here to listen to this and maybe have some questions. So I do want to remind anyone from the public, when you come up, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. When you get to the podium, please state your name and the town in which you reside. Is there anybody from the public who would like to speak at this time?
Thank you. My name is Steve Bergioni. I'm mayor-elect for Town of Hamilton. I served 13 years on town council, and I would start this conversation by saying that when any entity comes into a room with this many people, you got to question it. Something just doesn't add up right. It just doesn't seem logical to me to bring this army here to go over this issue without really, it just seems odd to me. Secondly, it is not 13 miles. I need to correct Mr. Levinson. It's approximately 5 miles from our western border. It's our zip code. So Hamilton is the most directly affected to this. What I would ask at this time, at least at this time, would be to have the county exec, administration, the jail committee when you form it, unless you already formed it.
It's a standing committee.
And the commissioners do a full presentation to our residents in Hamilton. Not here, but in Hamilton, since we are the town that's most directly affected by all this. That would be my initial request. I take office in January. You guys come on in. Let's bring the whole show in and have a conversation.
Mayor, in all due respect, your town is affected by this, 5 miles away. But so is Mays Landing. And if you want to talk about direct effect, it's there now.
Correct.
In their front yard.
Yeah.
This is in your backyard.
Understood.
And
But it already exists. You have the infrastructure and facilities to handle it.
Mayor, I understand. So this is going to have to be, and by the way, our newest freeholder is the mayor of Hamilton Township. So it'll be a lively discussion.
It'll be fun.
And by the way, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, again, I would encourage everyone to please bring this meeting to Hamilton and have that conversation with our residents. Our residents are deeply concerned. And what I'll leave you with is this, that our town has done a great job, economic development. We bring people to our town, they eat at our restaurants, shop at our stores, and then go to play on your golf courses and go down the shore. What I don't want, and I may not be able to stop this from Camden and Cumberland coming to our zip code, but it's to move prisoners back and forth through our town when we're trying to bring people in. I think it's a bad look. We have Tuckahoe Turf that brings thousands of people in every month for soccer tournaments. To me, for Hamilton, it's a bad look. I would obviously request that Atlantic County doesn't participate in it, but at the very least, bring everyone to us and have our residents ask questions. I think that's a fair question, a fair demand at this time.
This is going to be on our website as well, available to the
Right, but
public.
I think this meeting should be held in Hamilton.
Informational. I think you still have that informational meeting out there to explain it in the council. Mayor, if I'm not, you're talking about coming to a council meeting and explaining it, or you want a separate meeting set up?
No, you could do it at the council meeting. We'll give you plenty of time
Okay.
so that our residents can come and ask questions, not online, but come in person and ask questions. Our residents have questions and concerns. With all due respect to everyone, you guys want to come in our backyard, it's not an unreasonable request to have your meeting at our location.
So just
to discuss this issue.
right now also, again, I'm not going to go back and forth with you on this. It's not my intention. But this is not an Atlantic County project at the moment. We've
Understood.
had zero input on this. This is the first time we actually saw this presentation.
Understood. And
Which
if you
is
guys
available
take
to
I
the
guess my
public
question is, if you take the next step, could you come to us and have that conversation with our residents.
I hope before we take the next step, we'll have a lot more answers to provide to everyone in Atlantic County. So,
Okay.
definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, congratulations, or Mayor-elect. Is there anyone else from the public at this time on this particular topic? Because we'll be time for public comment after each agenda item and at the end. Is there anybody online? All right. So, no. Okay. Thank you. So hearing no other public comment, I would like to then move on with the, oh, there is one? Sorry. Okay. Cap Ferry? Is it? Ms. Cabafari, you have to unmute yourself on your end. Okay, so there will be, I mean, there will be other opportunity at the end of the meeting for public comment as well. Yeah, I think
It's a gap, Barry, I'd like to hear it.
we're trying. Doing
While we're, Mr. Chair, just
Yeah.
one other question for the jail committee. I would be interested to know if, the existing jail demolition costs are included in the total cost.
the 14 to 34
Yeah.
million.
Mhm. Well, the total,
I unmuted me.
There we are.
Okay, I live in Winslow Township, and I live 3 miles from the Hamilton border. I have a lot of concerns, but my biggest one that I'm taking away from this, and I agree with the mayor, this many people, something's not right. Please explain how my property tax is going to be affected by this prison?
Somebody,
Ed, can you answer that one?
someone from the presentation. I mean, they did say it's going to be a separate entity, but how, you mean the impact on your property taxes?
Yeah, anytime you build a new jail, whether you do it collaboratively or you do it individually, it's going to cost money. We're trying to do it for the cheapest price. That's why we're doing it collaboratively. That will cost each taxpayer less than it would if you did it yourself on your own.
But is
And I
this
think-
a separate entity that is going to be showing up on my property tax?
Right, that's what
Yes.
she wants to know.
Yes,
And will we be able to vote on any tax increases, or we're just gonna have to accept what is presented to us?
well, right now, your property taxes for the
Like the
county,
School board, we vote on. Fire commission, we vote on. Will we have a chance to vote on this prison baloney?
no, I don't think so.
No, it's just in
Well-
your tax, it's what it
It's,
costs.
it's part of your tax
The
bill.
cost to do it. The
Listen,
cost for the
you need a
service.
jail.
I know, but explain it to her. It's a cost for having that service, whatever the costs are gonna be from the entity that runs the regional facility, they're gonna pass it on to the
Correct.
taxpayers.
The-
All over Atlantic County. So everybody will see it on
Well,
the tax bill.
The Atlantic County Commissioners will appoint an equal number, as will the Camden County Commissioners, as will the Cumberland County Commissioners through the board that will make that decision.
And
Collaborative.
will employees be employees of the state or the county or this commission? Like,
There will
what is
be-
their status?
They will be employed, the people who run the regional facility will be employees of the regional entity that runs that facility. Right now, the people who run your jail, you live in Winslow, the people who run your jail are Camden County employees.
But I'm concerned because I was a state employee, how this is going to affect people's pensions, their seniority and that kind of thing.
No one is going to have their pension affected. I would tell you, and the finance people would agree with me, our corrections officers, I'm concerned about Camden County corrections officers. You're concerned about Atlantic County corrections officers. They will make more money working with us when this place opens in 5 years.
Will they be employees of the state of New Jersey?
They will be employees of the Southern New Jersey Regional Rehabilitation and Reentry Authority. That's what they will be employees
Is
of.
this a private prison?
No, it's public. A public entity.
Then the employees will be public employees.
That is correct.
Yes.
Listen, when we try, you might not have heard the beginning of the presentation, but we've been thinking about this for, I think it's 15 years now. And when we started to think about it, we thought, okay, we'll issue bonds. You would pay the debt service on those bonds as a Camden County taxpayer. What we're trying to do is to ameliorate the effect, to make it less than it would otherwise be by doing it together.
And what happens to the patients at Ancora with this prison?
If you're living in Camden County now, you're gonna pay for this
That's
whether
correct.
we're in or not.
That's correct.
You're gonna have Cumberland and Camden in Winslow Township where you live.
You are correct.
We may not go in, the commissioners may decide with the demolition of the old jail, the building of a new jail, how much it's gonna be compared to going into this facility. So they got their work to do. But, Ms. Capaferri, you will be paying regardless because you live in Winslow, you live in Camden County.
Right.
You asked about the
Question
patients.
is, what happens to the patients at Ancora? What happens to the mental health facility that exists there?
Yeah, let me answer that question for you.
And I hate the fact that you're conflating mental illness with criminals.
Well, the patients at Ancora Hospital will remain at Ancora Hospital. That answers your question? That is a state-run facility.
Ms. Capaferri, thank you for your questions. A lot of these questions.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
I'll mute me again.
At this time, I believe I would like to move on to the rest of our agenda for the day. So anybody who's here for the jail, you're free to leave.
Good to see you.
Oh, there it is.
Lot of purple. Oh, yeah. Great minds.
All right, so let's move on to ordinance 5.
Ordinance amending the code of the County of Atlantic pertaining to land development standards, Part 2, General Legislation, Chapter 86-201, and Article 11, Section 4-64.10, Subpart M3A regarding the composition of the Development Review Committee of the County of Atlantic, final reading.
Second. Moved and seconded. Are there any commissioner comments? Since this is final reading, are there any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Ordinance 7.
Ordinance amending County Code Chapter 97 entitled Parks concerning John F. Gaffney Green Tree Golf Course, first reading.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any commissioner comments? Here none, since this is first reading, there'll be no public comment at this time. Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. If any commissioners would like to discuss or remove any grants from the consent agenda, please indicate so now. Are there any comments from the public on the grants? I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 645 through 646.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. Resolution 647.
Amending Resolution Number 533, adopted on October 7, 2025, agreeing from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for the Sexual Assault Response Team Forensic Nurse Examiner Program to increase the county in-kind match, net increase $2,352.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Abstain.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. Resolution 648.
Professional services agreement with various vendors for library goods and services, amount not to exceed $690,000.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Okay, please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. If any commissioners would like to discuss or remove any competitive contracts from the consent agenda, please indicate now. Are there any comments from the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 649 through 651.
Moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. Resolution 652.
Bid contract with the New Jersey Fire Equipment Company to provide a fire training rooftop unit, amount not to exceed $78,500.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Okay, please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. If any commissioners would like to discuss or remove any change orders from the consent agenda, please indicate so now. Okay, hearing none, any comments from the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt the resolutions 653 through 654.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. If any commissioners would like to discuss or remove any miscellaneous items from the consent agenda, please indicate so now. Hearing none, are there any comments from the public? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 655 through 657.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 658 through 651 and resolution 663, chapter 159s.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. Resolution 662.
Wellbeing and Equity Innovations Community-Based Violence Interruption Program 2025, $115,000.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Stays.
Abstain.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Stays.
Yes. We'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions 664 through 669 appointments.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Gatto.
with regard to 668, the appointment of Tara Silipina as our clerk.
Yes.
While this is slightly questionable, no. I just want to say, and I think I speak for us all, but, you know,
You do.
Tara, you do such a great job. And
Outstanding.
you picked up the reins from Sonia and really have made the position your own and really keep us all in line along with the rest of your staff. And like I said, we're just so lucky to have you. You do a fantastic job, and I'm just so grateful that you're going to continue on. So
Thank you.
keep these guys all in line when I'm not here.
Thank you.
I thought you were putting it in committee.
No, 100% echo everything Commissioner Gatto said.
Amen.
Tara and staff have done a tremendous job helping me as chair. You no idea. Anyway, are there any other commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Yes, twice.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 670.
Resolution setting the date, time, and place of the annual reorganization meeting of the Atlantic County Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Resolution 671.
Resolution supporting the National Dam Safety Program Amendment Bill, sponsor Amy L. Gatto.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Commissioner Gatto, do you have any comments?
Yeah, so this is a follow-up to the wonderful day we had at the opening of the Lake Lenape Dam. I think you can remember we had Congressman Van Drew had a speaker there, and he spoke himself on legislation that he was pushing in terms of continuing funding and attention on the prioritization of dam safety and the payment of dam safety. And we know we benefited by several $1 million to have that dam replaced. And I think it's something that all of our infrastructure needs that kind of attention. And I made a commitment to him that we would support his legislation following that ceremony. So this is where we're at.
Any other commissioner comments?
Yeah, I would just like to thank Commissioner Gatto for all her hard work with the dam. You stayed entirely committed to this throughout, from the
Yes.
beginning through making sure that it moved forward. So thank you very much for your commitment.
Thanks.
Any other commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
Bertino.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
Ruffio.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Commissioners, we've received copies of written communications and petitions. Are there any commissioner comments Attorney Anthony may have received? Hearing none, are there any reports of special committees of the board?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Gatto.
I couldn't attend our last meeting due to work travel that I was on, but I didn't see in the minutes, Commissioner Parker, that you gave an update on our AI subcommittee.
Yes,
Did you or did you?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I
I didn't
did.
see it. Sorry. All right,
Mhm.
never mind.
We also have a draft resolution that went out today for the committee to consider.
Oh, I didn't see anything, but okay. Okay, sorry.
Any other reports of special committees? Any unfinished business? Hearing none. Any new business?
Chair?
Commissioner Risley?
I'd just like to comment on our meeting last night at the Canale Center. I thought it was fantastic. Thought it was a good, solid meeting. I heard a lot of great conversation. I was particularly happy to hear from the police chief of the town that I live in, Chief Spano, and the remarks that he made about the necessity for this. I think there's a real opportunity here, and we're going to get some of the players together, and I hope Mr. Fordorko will work with this group to move centralized dispatch ahead. It's time. It's just time. You know, I've been here 24 years. Next year will be 25. And I've heard about centralized dispatch over the decades from a lot of folks, a lot of firemen, EMS people, how antiquated we are. And we shouldn't have to be making a half a dozen phone calls or more to get people and equipment to places where they need to be. You know, we're last in that category. We need to be first, and we need to be not the only county that doesn't have centralized dispatch. So it's something that it's the right thing to do. It's not about saving money. It's about saving lives and people. That's what it's about.
about efficiency. That's why I feel so passionately about it. It's just simply time. So the meeting last night was great. It was positive, and we're moving forward. So I thank everybody that attended and their remarks. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there any other new business?
Chairman,
Commissioner Kern?
there was a meeting and Commissioner Burns, I had put together a meeting regarding ID for the homeless. I know some information has gone around. It was came from a meeting that Absecon has a task force. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend that due to illness, but Commissioner Burns does have a meeting put together, and there is another one coming up on June 12th. And
December.
I think it's,
December.
I'm sorry, December.
Man, I
June came
wish.
from, where the
I
hell did
wish,
that
man.
come
I don't
from?
know.
Maybe I'm just hoping for,
That's
so
where
we-
it came from.
so,
School year was flying by.
there was a number of people, involved with that meeting and have some passion about it, but I do feel that, we should include the, committee, which you actually chair.
Yeah,
On the
It was
information,
nice to get the information today.
because there is a, homeless committee and should be involved as well.
Yeah, I appreciated the information. Looks like it was a good meeting. I wasn't aware of any of the questions that were raised.
Commissioner Parker was the chair.
It's okay, no worries. So I guess for sake of quorum, for that, I'm happy to yield for you to continue to attend and everything like that. But yeah, I think it's great. I know it's a passion of yours too, Commissioner Kern. So something we should continue to consider. I know there's a lot of questions with the process as it used to be, right? And some concerns there. And so I think there's a lot of details to maneuver, but certainly if we can address an issue that
Yes,
is an
to make
Absecon concern.
things clear, I was invited by Mayor Marone from Absecon to attend that meeting that Maureen couldn't attend because she was sick. And at that meeting, I was specifically asked why we weren't doing it any longer, because apparently we used to do that in the county. And is there a possibility to do it again? So that's where I just said, I can't answer that. I'll go back to administration. And speaking to Jerry, we just put together to include the people that were at that meeting and to move forward to get an answer. A lot of concerns, liability, accountability, and everything. But I can step back. It's your.
No, it's fine. It's probably better. I can take it. Continue the ball.
It was a good group that you put together. And I think there will be other, information coming forward.
Yep.
Glad those issues will continue to be discussed and addressed. I know Mayor Murray was pretty fired up in one of the Mayor's Association meetings. So
Right.
glad anything you do to calm him down.
And again, it's just to help the homeless population who are looking for housing, a job.
Yeah.
Or any type of benefits.
Going right to the cause of the problem and not,
Yes.
right,
And
definitely not putting
Commissioner Gates
Band-Aids
was
on it. So
Also in the meeting.
definitely get right at the root cause. Appreciate that. Is there any other new business? All right. Moving on to public comment. Anyone attending in person that would like to speak now at public comment, please come to the podium, speak in on the microphone, state your name and the town in which you reside. If you're attending virtually and like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. I'll call your name and request to unmute will be sent. Please state your name and the town in which you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Griffin. I reside in Pleasantville, New Jersey. I'm the president of Local 2302. Good evening, Chair and Madam Chair and Commissioners. I already introduced myself. I work at Family Community Development. I've been there over 21 years, and I'm here today to talk about safety in our building. There is no safety. We had a customer come in and threaten one of our employees straight to his face that he will shoot him. This is an everyday situation that we're going on. I've been here 21 years and we've been asking for metal detectors. Have always been told no. We live in a different climate right now. We're in different circumstances right now. We have customers that come in, yell at us, threaten us, bang on desks. In Pleasantville, they have no protection either at 2 South Main Street. The way their desks are assembled at 2 South Main Street, there is no way for them to get out if they're attacked. Again, we live in a different climate. We want to go home to our families like y'all go home to y'all families. We need help. We can't sit there and say what happens. In 2014, Leah Coleman was stabbed 24 times by someone walking in with a 9-inch knife into the building. We don't want these problems at Atlantic County government. It's time to do something. It's time to protect your employees. Just like we serve the customers, we are also your customers. We need help from the commissioners to get metal detectors in the building. You walk in the building, the state building, they got the sheriff's officers, they got metal detectors. You walk in Atlantic City Hall, they have metal detectors. Why at Atlantic County government, we do not have metal detectors? I wrote something down, but as I sit here, I'm speaking from the heart for my members. We need help. We need protection. We deal with mental health people. We don't know how to deal with mental health people because we wasn't trained to deal with mental health people. We have no training. We don't know what their moves may be when they walk in. You just sat here and said about the homeless and IDs. We deal with homeless population. We do not have the capacity to lose people at 1333 or 2 South Main Street. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, Commissioner Isley.
May I ask a question to this lady? Are there any guards in the building?
Yes, we have guards.
Okay.
Again, we have guards. Nobody who's going to protect us. If you have people, we have guards with guns. They're on the first floor. If something pop off on the 3rd floor, how are they going to get to us?
So you're saying there are guards with a gun on the first floor only?
First floor. And the entrance, he pushes the door to let people in.
Just recently, our gun scare.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yeah, through you to Jerry, I mean, what's the barrier to putting metal detectors?
So I'm not a security expert. We have security experts that, one of the issues is, we'll talk about it, is once you do that, then you're gonna need sheriff's office. Put sheriff's office. I'm saying, like, if that's Michael explaining what's going on, the one that we're.
Mr. Federico?
If you have metal detectors, you have to have 2 armed officers there in case somebody has a gun. So.
Okay.
We do have people that bring guns in the building. We don't know what they bring in the building.
I'm just making a statement. If you have metal detectors, you need 2 armed people there to scan people.
Okay, but if you have 2 sheriff officers across the street at the state building where they work for Atlantic County government, why are they not in our building?
And it's a county building.
And they work for Atlantic County.
Valid question. Because the courts, sheriff is designed to protect the courts. That's why the sheriff's officers are in courts. That's one of their key functions.
Well, who's designed to protect us?
Hang on. Excuse me, ma'am. Hold on. I had the same question, actually. Is who's protecting our county employees?
Well, how many, why don't you go through, how many officers do you have? How many different people do you have in the building?
2 on the first floor. That's not enough.
We have one that sits at the door with an armed guard, one that roams that he may stay on the first floor because we have the homeless population that comes in. They come in with bags, they come in with suitcases. You don't know what they have in these bags or suitcases.
Yeah, is that Pleasantville, that's Atlantic City?
Yeah, Atlantic City, 1333 Atlantic Avenue.
So could we not put a metal detector at the door where the phone is and have another guard?
This is Kyra Martier. I also work for Atlantic County government.
if I'm not mistaken, we recently had over, what is about 300 something people who got their food stamps stolen because of this big hack coming to the building. And then from there, people were coming in naturally upset, you know, their food stamps are going. So now our employees are getting threatened because they think Atlantic County government is the reason why my food stamps are no longer there.
Yeah.
So again, security is an issue, like Melanie Griffin said. We do have the armed guard at the front door who sits there, and I'm gonna give you a prime example like this. Because I'm watching a movie. This is what I'm doing. I'm role playing right now. And I'm pressing the button. So I'm showing eye contact of who's coming in. We do have regular guards, and not to offend anyone in the senior community, but we do have guards there who, one of them worked with my mother at Showboat, was been closed for what, 30 some years. So she about 75. What is she going to do besides help? At that point, like we need more security because again, we're not equipped to deal with these people who has issues.
Yeah.
That's just point blank period. Yes, you know, the sheriffs are at City Hall or the courthouse, but the county, we deal with the population we deal with, they're not going to City Hall. They come into the county because they're homeless, they have no food, they have mental. So the first point of contact is one of our employees. So what happens then? So it is going to take for something to happen to one of us, for it to be, or God forbid, for one of them, because they ain't going to the 8th floor. These people stop at the 3rd. Who's on the 3rd? I'm just going to leave it there.
I have a question. If we put metal detectors in, would it be sufficient to have just armed security guards there, or does it have to be sheriff's officers? I'm asking it to Mike. Hold on, Mel. Yeah, Mel, that was to Mike.
Administration.
The armed guards can take care of the problem. I mean, they handcuff, they can do anything.
So technically, if we did put metal detectors in, armed security guards would be sufficient.
Yes.
So then we're talking about.
So it's all about a money issue. That's basically what it is. Because we don't have the money to get the medical, like, cut to the chase.
We're just trying to find out what we can do and what we can't do. All right.
So you can also, rather than metal detectors, you can also wand them. Get those big black paddles, they look like.
Right.
They're metal detectors too. You could wand everybody coming in.
So can we just do that?
Sounds good to me.
Is that a possibility?
I'd like to, Mel, this question is for you now. So you're in the building, we're not in the building.
Yes.
So we don't see what's going on. Is it a training issue in terms of the armed security guards? If we had better trained armed security, with the addition of the metal detectors,
Or the paddle?
or the paddles being winded down. So if the armed security is not watching a movie on his phone, allegedly, and they're trained to, when they receive the people that come in the door, they wind everybody down. Would that be sufficient for you, is my question.
Yes, it will be sufficient because it's a start. It's a start to show that you care for your employees and protecting us.
And see how that goes. And then if that's not working, then we could talk about possibly sheriffs. Is that where your stand is?
Yes, but also you got them threatening the employees, and now the employees have to walk to their cars. So while they walk to their cars, they can get attacked going to their cars as well. It's dangerous out here.
Are you talking about? No, we're talking about the county building.
Yes, everyone doesn't park in the parking lot.
Okay, the guards will go out, walk anybody out of the building. In the morning and in the afternoon, I have a park ranger in the parking lot with his lights on.
That just started.
No, we've been doing that for probably 2 or 3 months.
It just started 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it's because I made a decision to do it, that's why.
but somebody got threatened from the upper floor. So.
Okay, hold on. Listen, I obviously 100%, we appreciate the concerns. I'm sorry that you felt the need to come to the meeting to tell us that you don't feel safe. We can offer suggestions. It's ultimately up to administration, to who is there to check it out and make sure that our employees feel safe. But I mean, this is the forum, to have your voices heard, 100%.
Can I ask one question? So you just said it's up to the county. So if they don't do anything, what happens? Now you're putting yourself in a liability because we came here, we have wrote several letters. Now if someone gets attacked, now you have a class action lawsuit on your hands.
Well,
No,
again,
I hope we're
Commissioner
not,
Parker.
I don't think anybody up here saying we're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
We're
I
just,
didn't say,
Yeah, we're-
he said it was up to the county.
Correct.
no,
And
No,
that means that's
well,
up to
excuse
Jerry
me.
and Denny enough.
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you're leaving it up to them,
So,
then it's never going to get done because we've been asking
Yeah.
for years.
ma'am, so this is, again, this board does not have the authority to make those kinds of decisions at the county office building.
We
But
understand
this
that.
is the forum to have those concerns heard. All right. And I think well, I'm not going to speak for the commissioners, but commissioners who spoke have sympathized with you and have tried to address the concern that you have. And so that's something hopefully will be done differently moving forward.
All right, thank you.
Mr.
That's-
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Gatto.
I'll just make a formal request on the record, Mike, if you don't mind. Please assess the chance to add a guard and add wanding and/or metal detectors. How and when we could do that. And then I would also ask that you look at the service contract for the guards and any expectation of performance that they are not meeting. We need to audit that and hold them accountable. And if not, then we can certainly put it out to bid and, bring in somebody else if needed. I would make the request of those two items.
Thank you.
We are very much in contact with the guards almost every day. And any problems, we call Tri-County, we tell them, and we'll also tell the guard too. So, I mean, the guards at the county building that are armed are very, very good.
But you're hearing what people are seeing, so let's audit it. If there should be
Yeah,
a
good.
standard of performance that they should be actively watching their area. So I would just audit that's happening.
I will look at it.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Are there any other public comments at this time?
Yes. Good
Yeah.
evening. My name is Yolanda Lawson. I'm out of Laurel Springs, New Jersey for ASME, the labor union. I represent the members at Local 2302. And I have had conversations with Mr. Del Rosso about metal detectors and or wands. And I was clearly told that the county is not doing that. That's why myself and these members are here today to beg you for some sort of resolution because these people are scared to go to work. They do an excellent job. They go in that building and they don't know what is going to be ahead of them for the day. And again, when he says the guards are very good, they might be good people, but they're not paying attention to their jobs. And a simple wanding to make sure what they're bringing in their bags, because these are people that are bringing in luggage, suitcases. We don't know what they have on them. We don't know what their mental capability is either. And like they said, they are not trained to deal with the mentally ill. So if we could have some form of security to make them feel a little safe, that would go a great way. And that's all I have to say.
Jerry, is there a reason that we're not doing it now?
Well, our conversations were that we had plenty of guards in the building. As a matter of fact, Mike, during one of these time periods, actually put a third guard in the building and had him walk through the building. So we've done stuff like that. Added an additional officer or whatever.
Can I address the third guard in the building? The third guard in the building was when the food stamps got cut off. The third guard in the building was sitting downstairs on the first floor. If you come in our building, Andrew, Mr. Parker, you've been in there. So you know the side where the library's at. They had 3 chairs. I had pictures. The guard sat in this chair for a whole day. And I asked, where's the guard at for the second floor? Because it should be 2 guards on the second floor because of the food stamps. Nobody knew where the guard was. Went upstairs to the 6th floor, asked about the guard. Then Jackie who's our guard, head guard downstairs, called somebody and they told them to bring the guard upstairs on the second floor. But his station was the first floor. Why are you by the library? There's no customers coming there. All the customers is up on the second floor or the first floor. But they don't deal with food stamps like the second floor do. So why is he down there? So that's where the guard was at.
I'm sorry, Jerry, I just want a follow-up question. Yeah. Are you saying that you feel that we have adequate coverage of the building?
I had conversations with everybody about the guards. So now if you guys would like us to do a little bit more, the only problem with this is, as you heard, and this is what rankles me, I'm going to be quite honest with you, they know how to call me when something's bothering them. But when the guard's not doing their job, when we think we've added a third guard or a fourth guard, and I'm listening to like 3 months later that the guard was sitting doing nothing, or a guard sitting there looking at their phone watching movies. When I'm down there not doing that, and I go down. My point is, if they know that's going on, they gotta call us right away. I mean, I talk to Mike, I don't know, 3 times a month, 4 times a month about somebody that's not doing the job. Mike gets on it right away. So that, I mean, that's the point.
Who's supervising the security?
If you think you've got enough security and they're not doing their job, which is what I'm listening to, it's not that you don't have enough cards, you think they're just not doing their job, or some people are maybe not capable of doing the job, then that's the point I'd like to address. I'd like to see people that are going to do the damn job.
Absolutely. As Commissioner Gatto said, he's doing all. If we're paying a service to perform, or an entity to perform a service, to make sure that they're doing what they're required to do. Are there other cameras where, I mean, you said that they should notify you if they see someone not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Are there cameras where someone can just observe it randomly as well?
Well, we were.
I don't want to answer that.
Before you start, is it possible for the Board of Commissioners to request that you add the?
Oh, you can ask.
Yeah, we will. I'd like to, can we make motion to request that?
To request what, the wands?
The wands and.
I thought Amy did already.
No.
You didn't ask for
Let's
the
do
wands?
officially.
I didn't do it via a motion.
Let's go on
I
record.
just-
Let's go on record. I move that we, request for.
Amend it or add to it, that when they see something wrong, they don't wait 4 months, come here and bitch about it, just call Mike.
So, excuse me. We're gonna speak one. I can't hear what everybody's talking. Nobody can hear. You're not gonna hear any answers that anybody's able to provide. Excuse me. So, but there's.
If you see somebody not doing their job, who are you telling?
So we're supposed to run up to the 84.
Excuse me. We're not going to have this back and forth. You need to address the chair, first of all. Secondly, this is not any way to have your concerns addressed, honestly, right? You've expressed what you feel is unsafe working conditions. I think the commissioners who have spoken have sympathized with you, agreed with you, asked administration to look at other options moving forward. I think you've heard Jerry also say, can someone notify me almost immediately if you see someone not doing what they're supposed to be doing?
But we was told not to stay, we was told not to interfere in security.
No. Don't talk to the guard. Talk to someone from county administration
We had,
at that moment. Okay.
we had.
Excuse me. Mr. Chair, I put a motion on the floor. Could I,
What was your motion again? I'm sorry.
that we request that the county provide, wands and extra.
Wands or metal detector with the appropriate amount of guards required for such things, and an audit of current security services.
Absolutely. Okay, so there's a
So I
motion
second
that was
that motion.
seconded. Can we do a roll call vote, or we should? Roll call vote? Okay. So we have a motion that's been made and seconded. So roll call, please.
Bertino,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Grizzly,
Yes.
Ruffio,
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Is there any additional public comment?
Yes, hi. My name is Marguerite Burgess. I am really just speaking on the fact of wording is everything, and the manner in which you speak to people says a lot. I can understand the frustration that Jerry may have had when indicating that maybe something was not reported to him in an immediate fashion, or anybody at a floor in immediate fashion, but to use the word as bitching, and that was his word.
Yeah.
That's what he said. That's what he said. You don't wait several months to be bitching about something. That says a lot about how a person perceives the individuals that are actually speaking to him in reference to what their issues and concerns are. That should not be done. Because if I'm talking to you and I'm letting you know that I am upset about something, or I'm expressing to you what my concerns are, please do not filter it through your mindset as though I am actually bitching. No, what I'm doing is I am informing you of my concerns. And if that's the way you respond to me, that tells me that you're not concerned about my concerns or me. It's extremely disrespectful, especially from someone at an administrative level. That is unacceptable. I think you actually owe them an apology for that. Whether you give that or not, we don't know, but you do. The other thing is that you have some people that, because they are not the ones directly affected by what is going on. I'm not sure if you go through the front door when it's time for you to go to your office. You may go through a whole different door, and you don't have to worry about coming in contact with the actual clients that they have to deal with on a regular basis. And it's not just people that are homeless, and it's not just people with mental illness. Everybody is going through something. You do not know what it may have taken an individual to get up out the bed that day, to try to get their mind in a mindset to handle what may happen on that particular day, and then have someone say something to them that could send them left. You have absolutely no clue what it took to put a smile on someone's face in that moment, on that day, at that time. You asked for us to be professional while we're dealing with people. Be professional with us when we're dealing with you, because it's a two-way street. You want respect, give us the same respect. We are dealing with all different types of issues and all different types of people on a daily basis. I do not understand why it should be that hard to want to make sure that the very people that you want to give 100% of themselves to the clients that they are coming in contact with some form of security. I should not wake up in the morning fearful of what may happen to me when I walk into a building because I have a security guard, whether he is paying attention, not paying attention, looking at this person. You may indicate that this person's a friend of yours or whatever the case may be, and you decide, let me just buzz the person in. That's all they're asking you to do. Care about them and give them the respect that they deserve, just like you want to be respected.
All right, this time I'll entertain a motion to close public comment.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments for the good of the order? Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meeting is adjourned.